be used for ritual purposes.
Will be wanted by the Enugu State Police Command for abduction, kidnapping, and ritual killing. Is alleged to have kidnapped a 13-year-old girl.
So the girl was like shaking, and I followed the television followed the voice of the television. It was on that now. I had to tie her hands with the neck so that on the strangling her, she will not have the strength to drag with me. That was the guy I killed in Lagos.
Here are top 5 serial killers and cold-blooded murderers that happened in Nigeria this year and some years past. And some of these killers are still walking free in Nigeria. When Nigerians hear the word serial killer, the first thought is usually about America. Names like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, or Jack the Ripper in London. But what if I told you that right here in Nigeria, we have had our own monsters? I'm talking about men who kill people again and again. Some for ritual, sometimes just for the fun. And the most scary part is that not all of them were truly stopped. This is not fiction. This is real life. Things that happen right here in Nigeria under our noses. These are real events that happen in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Owerri, and beyond. Some of these killers were caught by pure accident, others slipped into mystery. And if you think Nigeria is too chaotic for serial killers to exist, you will soon see that it's the very chaos that allows them to walk up and down and carry their enterprise, because the country is often distracted. Well, let's dive properly into some of these killers, starting with Clifford Orji. But before then, don't forget to like and subscribe. In the late 1990s, Lagosians woke up to one of the most shocking discoveries ever reported in the city. Clifford Orji was no ordinary man. He lived under a bridge along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, pretending to be a madman. But when police stormed his hideout, what they found out shook the entire country. Human parts, bones, skulls, and decaying flesh. Some reports said roasted human meat was even found in his shack. Clifford Orji confessed that he ate human flesh and also sold body parts to powerful people for rituals. Imagine Lagos, which happens to be the most crowded city in Nigeria, and right under a bridge, a man was killing and eating humans without anyone suspecting or finding out for that long. Newspapers called him the Cannibal of Lagos. Some believe that he was not acting alone, that he was connected to powerful ritualists and politicians. He was arrested and locked away, but even his end was quite a mystery. They said he died in Kirikiri prison in 2012, but till today, many Nigerians don't believe the story is actually straight. Some insist he was silenced because he knows too much. Thinking about it, if Clifford Orji could carry out his killings unnoticed in the heart of Lagos, how many others like him are still walking freely? Fast forward to 2019. While the rest of the country was focused on politics and daily struggles, women were being hunted in Port Harcourt. The killer's name is Gracious David West. His method was quite simple, but terrifying at the same time. He lured women, and they were mostly young ladies, into cheap hotels. After spending nights with them, he would wait until they slept and turned their backs. Then he pulled out a rope and strangled them to death. Cold-blooded, calculated, and without any emotion. At least 15 women were killed across Rivers State, Imo State, Abia State, Lagos, and other states in Nigeria. In some cases, he tied their hands and legs, left their bodies on hotel beds, and walked out as if nothing happened.
And I had on her neck with a knife that let her don't shout. She shout now, I will stab it on her stomach. So the girl was like shaking. And I followed the television followed the voice of the television. It was on that now. I had to tie her hands with the neck so that on the strangling her, she will not have the strength to drag with me.
For months, nobody connected the dots. It was only luck that caught him. One hotel staff noticed his suspicious movement and raised alarm. When he was arrested, he confessed openly, "Yes, I killed them." Just like that, no fear, no remorse, he said he was driven by a strange urge and that he couldn't stop himself from doing what he was doing.
I might be in a beer parlor and it will come upon me. And when it come upon me, I leave that area. I will be a normal person. And by that time, if anybody is talking to me, I don't hear until what I want to do, I've done it in that mission first. Before I will not do it, I will not get myself normal.
Think about it. How many women entered hotels with him and never came out alive? Think about how many more women would have died if not for one hotel worker who decided to pay attention. On this aspect, in Nigeria, we have heard stories of ritualists, but what happened in Enugu recently is not just a story. It's a nightmare that many people are still struggling to actually believe. A wealthy native doctor, popularly known as Ezani, or Ide Play, Ide Show, turned out to be something far darker than the flashy image he paraded himself. Behind his compound, hidden away in Ezago local government area, he kept a pit of death where human beings were buried alive. The horror came to light after people began to hear strange sounds. The cries of a young girl that sounded faint, weak but very desperate to survive. The sound continued coming from beneath the ground. At first, many thought it was imagination, but the sound grew stronger and people began to suspect. Locals then summoned courage and stormed the compound. What they found shocked everyone. A 13-year-old girl was pulled out from a pit alive but traumatized after being buried under blocks and dead. She has been taken away days earlier and thought dead. But cries that refused to die exposed her captors. That rescue was just the beginning of the nightmare. Inside the same property, other pits were uncovered, and in those pits laid bodies. Some were already decomposing, some arranged upright as if they had been forced down alive. Among them, a pregnant woman, her life and that of her unborn child snuffed out in the most brutal way possible.
2 pregnant women, well, their corpses were already decomposing. Wow. 2 pregnant women, this is where he's been killing people.
Do you know the shocking part? This was no ordinary poor man. He was rich, he flaunted his wealth, drove big cars, and was respected as a billionaire native doctor. People bowed to him, visited him for charms and blessings, never knowing that his wealth was built on the blood of innocents buried under his feet. Till today, people still ask where he is. Was he protected? Was he warned before the crowd arrived? Nobody knows. What everyone knows, though, is that his victims were actually real. And even after he was caught, what happened then? Where is he now? Because families lost daughters, wives, and children. Bodies were found. A young girl was rescued, and the haunting truth is that if not for the cry of that 13-year-old girl, many of those victims would have been buried and forgotten forever. These are just the famous names, but Nigerians have seen other killers who have never gotten to the spotlight. Firstly, in the 1990s, the Otokoto killing in Owerri exposed how children were kidnapped and slaughtered for rituals. The case began when a young boy was murdered, his head severed and buried in a hotel compound. That discovery revealed a network of ritual killings that had been going on for years in that city. In Ikorodu, Lagos, the dreaded Bado cult terrorized residents with late-night killings. Families were slaughtered in their sleep with grinding stones. Nobody really knew who was behind it or why it lasted so long before the group was dismantled.
Then this room with a mattress that seemed like where captives are kept. It has what looked like 4 graves and one that appeared recently covered, making it a total of 5.
These killings were brutal, senseless, and they left behind one clear question. How many killers go uncaught in this country because our system is too weak to track them? Now, here is the brutal truth. Nigeria does not have the kind of investigative system that catches serial killers quickly. There is no national DNA database. Forensic science is almost non-existent. Police reports are full of errors. Families are often too scared to speak. And when suspects are caught, the cases are dragged for years until Nigerians forget. That's why someone like Clifford Orji could operate in plain sight. That is why Gracious David was kept killing across multiple states before anyone realized it was the same man. That is why till today, you hear rumors of ritual killings, disappearance, kidnapping, and nothing ever comes out from it. The scary truth is that Clifford Orji ate human flesh. Gracious David West strangled women for sport. The Otokoto hotel exposed child killings. The Bado court left families butchered in their sleep. And the Enugu billionaire slaughtered and buried people alive. These are only ones we know, the ones who made headlines. Now, answer the question, what if the real fear is this? For every killer we have heard about, how many more are still out there at the moment? Staying nameless, faceless, and unbelievably free. And if they still walk around among us, who will be the next victim? I leave this question to you. What's your take about this on the comment section? And until next time, bye for now.